Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Kagiso Rabada, one of the world's premier fast bowlers, who added even more strength to this already strong Gujarat Titans attack, had to be withdrawn from the IPL for personal reasons, is what we heard at the time. There was really not much said, and we were all very concerned about Kagiso, and we said that at the time. We hope everything was all right. Now the news has come through about Rabada's failed drug test, and the subsequent reaction actually makes for quite a conversation. I can confirm that Rabada is not playing today. Shubman Gill at the toss has said that he needs a couple of days more just to get back into the scheme of things. So he's not going to feature. But it does trigger a rather important conversation in the cricketing world about the handling of this situation, more than the situation itself. To set it up, might I just point out what the former Australia Test captain Tim Paine had to say on Sen Radio recently. And Tim Paine's quotes are, "I don't like this use around personal issues to be used for this particular incident. This isn't a personal issue. You have a professional sportsman that's tested for recreational drugs during a tournament in which he's playing. That doesn't fall under personal issues." Paine says a few more things. It's an issue that can just be hidden. It's not an issue that can just be hidden for a month. Guy can be taken out of the IPL, move back to South Africa. We just let it slide under the rug. Then we will bring him back once he's already served his ban. Now, I can understand where Tim Paine's coming from. When we say personal reasons, we tend to associate it with mental health and significantly sensitive issues, and whether this lack of transparency doesn't set a good example for the sport. Katie, weigh in?
I think the use of personal issues is to be supportive around probably the player and his family. There's a protection aspect that you have to have around your player, and I can imagine, obviously, the reasons him not playing today, the spotlight is going to be about him. The story is all going to be about him coming back and playing. And he seems to come across as the kind of guy that is likes just to sort of sit in the background, quite a quiet, unassuming kind of guy, although a fast bowler, which probably contradicts that in a way. But yeah, for me, I think it's how organisations want to manage their players. I don't really have an opinion either way, but I think at the heart of it is around supporting that player who's obviously made a mistake, an error in his judgment, and he's come out and said that it was a mistake. And look, we can't live and die by every mistake that we make. Otherwise, I mean, we probably wouldn't have jobs either. So, look, there's not much opinion I've got on that.
Abhi?
Look, a couple of issues here. One is he was tested during the SA20,
Correct.
which is again a South African tournament. He was informed of it during the IPL, for which Gujarat Titans they probably did not even know what he was sent back to South Africa for. What is or where is the regulatory body? The regulatory body here, in this case, is South Africa. They decide what the ban is. We've had instances here where they've decided 6-month ban, 9-month ban, 1 year, whatever. If BCCI, if you're caught here, you're given that sort of a ban. But with the number of franchise leagues cropping up, is there a need for a complete regulatory body? That's the question that should be asked, because it seems like a personal issue. What Tim Paine is saying is right, but Gujarat Titans have no say in this matter.
Yeah.
They've basically told, okay, Rabada needs to return, and Gujarat Titans have said, okay, fine. It's not slid under the rug for them. They don't need to slide anything, because it's up to SA20 or South African board to sort of figure out what the ban is.
When you just use the term personal reasons, it seems to often be when you don't know what to say. It seems to be that. And I wonder if the game, players, coaches, management need to be a little more careful and not just use that as a one-trick card for everything when you don't know what to say or when you're not sure what to be allowed to say. If tomorrow this extends to something that involves, say, criminal conduct or involves behavior that is far more sinister, it could also have an effect on the player's mental health and him needing protection. However, this is not the same as a player who's burnt out, feeling anxious, feeling depressed. Therefore, whether that is something that the game needs to be a little more sensitized and responsible when they throw that term around or use that term.
I think if someone said disciplinary issues, you go, oh, have they been in a fight? We've seen England incidents with that. Is it something, an illegal activity? Is it something within the team environment? So there's always the assumptions that people make when you put a blanket around a particular term. I guess it's around the timing of it all, and how long that notice has been in terms of not notifying the particular reasons of that. I don't mind his initial statement of saying, look, at personal reasons, and then everyone gets together as they need to be able to provide whatever messaging is required, allowing that protection of players and families, knowing the level of scrutiny that they're under nowadays.
It's also be in contracts, I'm thinking. I'm sure it's in contracts with Cricket South Africa, with your franchise.
Sure.
I'm sure you're in contracts. And of course, sponsorship deals as well. It sort of comes together as the fact that it is not good for your image if you're caught with a doping ban. Brands will not take lightly of the fact that you being a global ambassador or a brand ambassador.
That's a good point.
So these are things that's why I think a lot of people try and keep it quiet as well, because it's not a great thing. It is a stain on your reputation.
The last thing with doping is that sometimes you have to do 2 drug tests, so your initial test could be positive. And so therefore it might have been the fact, without having any extra information, they needed that extended period of time to do the B test to go, actually, yes, you are going to serve a ban. We need to go through the process initially to work that out. That might be partly towards the delay as well, hence using the words personal.
Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Next.